¿Qué tal, amigos de Netmedia? Estamos aquí con ahora sí que una persona bastante importante dentro de Accenture, es Kishore
Swaminathan.
Swaminathan, sorry, Kishore. He's global scientist of Accenture. Kishore, first of all, thank you so much for coming to the SoMeBiz. It was a great conference that you gave a minutes ago, and I would like to know from your point of view. I already asked you this inside, but if there's one thing that you should remark in the social media phenomenon for companies, what should that be? I mean, you mentioned a lot of collaboration, but I don't know if that's the key factor that companies be looking for.
I would say that companies used to spend a lot of time and money doing surveys and focus groups in the past. Now, that is happening on its own with very little prompting from you, okay? So the ability to kind of first listen to your customers and understand what is it that they're talking about and what are their, sometimes it's not even about your company. What are their concerns, what are their preferences, right? Understanding that, and also being part of various social groups that you care about, and then actively participating in those, and then prompting your consumers with questions. I think that you can get a lot of immediate value because this already is happening. Okay?
Excellent. Kishore, here in the event is that it was not until the social media phenomenon arrived and the Web 2.0 and Twitter, Facebook, that consumers understand that the brands are their brands. I mean, it's not a brand of the company. I mean, Apple holds the iPhone, for example, but in the end, the iPhone is for the user. So the user is the owner of the brand in the mean. And we talk about those companies understand that, but we never have asked yet inside there, does the consumer understand what is their responsibility inside this social media world, that it could affect their company, as you show in the Domino's case, or also that they can be heard by the company if he's been ignored every time he wants to complain or to tell something to the company. Do you believe the users understand what new powers or new capabilities give social media to them?
Not all of them do, and the people who do right now, they're abusing the power because there are a small number of people. They can create a lot of noise and then get a lot of attention. But as companies begin to understand, and as kind of communities begin to understand that in any community, there are going to be some people who are unhappy about anything, right? And so I think the phenomenon will even out. But right now, if you have a complaint about a company, complain to the community rather than the company itself, you'll get immediate action.
Excellent. And finally, Kishore, you already give some pointers on this case, but advice from your point of view, what will be the top tips that you can give to the companies and that you can give inside as an employee of Accenture, one of the biggest consultancy firms all around the world. But in the end, because companies start, for example, in Mexico enterprises, they're saying, okay, we need to have a social media guru. And who is the social media guru today? I mean, is everybody, or is it the one who has 30,000 followers on Twitter? We never know what is a social media guru. So from your point of view, any advice so the companies doesn't face social media phenomenon and crash into a wall and something bad happens to them?
The same as in computer security. There are two concepts. One is security and the other is disaster recovery. Okay? How do you prevent a disaster, and how do you, if it happened, how do you recover from it? Similarly, in social media, I think there are really three separate things that companies can do. One is, how do you prevent disasters from happening? Second, how do you recover from disasters that are happening? Because disasters can spread very fast. But there's a third phenomenon, and that is how do you create new opportunities? Okay? So, in terms of immediate priorities for companies, I think the first one is having a small group of people who are focused on disaster recovery. Just even understanding that there is something bad happening and then being able to take swift action. While you have that group, it can be relatively small, but it needs to have access to the highest levels of the company, right. So that, like the Domino's case that I talked about, where when the disaster was discovered, it was elevated all the way to the CEO. Right. Then, preventing disasters. That is probably a longer term strategy where you need a group of people who are part of various communities that you care about and who are active members of the community. They're not just passively listening, but active members of the community. And then the longer term strategy is, how do I create opportunities in these different groups? Do I create my own community? Do I partner with do I create an ecology of companies that cater to a particular lifestyle, which is what ultimately a group of users are attracted to? So if I were to rank them in terms of both priority as well as ease of accomplishing, it is disaster recovery, it is disaster prevention, and then opportunity creation.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much once again for coming to Mexico, Kishore. I know you have a lot of, your agenda is pretty busy, but double thanks that you are here. And eso ha sido todo con la entrevista con Kishore. Muchas gracias y sigan todos los contenidos en www.netmedia.info. Thank you.
Gracias.